Let me give you an example now. This is based on a real case, but I've got some slightly fictionalized records. My suspects switch off their phones at 4 a.m. from location 1. And I first of all want to see where could they walk in the time that they have available to them. And in particular, can they reach the scene of a murder? Now, what I'm quickly able to show is this is the fastest route that they could have taken from point 1 to point 2. But I also want to know, given that they live at point 1 and they were seen at point 2, how could they have got there? And you can see now that there are basically 1, 2 dominant routes and a third possible route. And if I zoom into this area here, it turns out the reason we know exactly when they arrived at point 2 is because there is a CCTV camera on this road and we saw them arriving. But we didn't see them departing. And because we didn't see them departing, I can now exclude that route as the departure route. And I'm just going to update some of my times here. We know that they arrived at 5:25 a.m. but they got lost going home. I should also point out that by this stage we've also got CCTV camera footage, and we've actually seen our suspects walking along that fastest route. We've also seen how quickly they're walking. And so as a consequence, we've actually got a good idea of the speed with which they are walking. So we're able to estimate that as well. So if I give them 5 minutes now to commit the murder at 5:30 a.m, at 6:30 a.m, and in real life this is true, our suspects got lost and so switched on their phones and switched on Google Maps. So we actually have an intermediate point here. And you can see here that I've got a map showing the reach of where they could have got to on foot in that hour. And what I want to draw your attention to is that there's a little dam there in the right-hand corner, which appears to be reachable. And this matters because I want to know whether I should be looking for the weapon. It was a stabbing murder in that dam as a matter of priority. Now, if I exclude the road that I've just mentioned because I've already got the camera footage, you can see that I've now got a pedestrian route along a riverside during that hour, and you can see that the map is still showing that the dam is reachable there on the right-hand side. The next interesting thing that occurred is that we actually had on one of the phones a time-stamped but not geocoded photograph of a hunting knife, which was clean and which might be the weapon. And so if I now animate this, I can actually see on a time scale where you could have been at any particular time. So this is in 30-second steps. And you can see, if I do this carefully, since that was a 6 a.m. photograph, you can see that it would have been possible to reach the dam. And you can see there on the right-hand side, a little piece of pattern there. You would have had to get there at 5:44, but you would have to leave by 5:50 in order to reach where you were then seen on Google Maps. At 6 a.m. then, which is when the photograph was taken, I've just narrowed down my search area for where the photograph of the knife was, and therefore where our suspects could have cleaned up, given that it's a photograph of a clean knife. In real life, this is not the actual real location, but in real life it turned out to be a primary school, approximately 40 metres by 20 metres, where there were taps around the school's garden area, which would have been publicly accessible. And if we'd had this tool back when this murder occurred, we could have done this analysis at the speed I just showed you and been able to send out forensic analysis to sample the mud and the water at these different taps on that day.